Welcome back to The Hot Wash, the series on ReWired experience where we expose the 15 obstacles designed to keep you stuck in the suck. I'm Kyle Stoy, a retired SWAT officer, combat veteran, Purple Heart recipient, a former police sergeant with 20 years in law enforcement, and an entrepreneur who's built and lost businesses. I know what it means to be paralyzed by fear. I've lived it. And before we go any further, let's just take a second to remind you how this entire series came to life. I sat down and asked ChatGPT to take on the persona of the enemy. And by enemy, I mean the devil. To think like the force that wants to keep us stuck, small, and weak. If the mission was to destroy human potential, what would be the strategy? And it came back with 15 obstacles, 15 mental, emotional, and financial traps designed to keep you from ever reaching your full potential. And today, we're breaking down one of the most paralyzing ones of all, fear. So here's the deal. Fear of failure keeps you from starting. Fear of success keeps you from continuing. Because the truth is, if you're in motion, if you're taking action, if you're in your Charlie Mike plan and you refuse to quit, you're probably going to be successful. But what most people don't realize is this. Number one, your fear of failure. It means you just haven't failed enough. And number two, that fear of success, it means you know deep down you're capable, but you're afraid of what comes next. So today we're going to break down why fear keeps people stuck and how to push past it, and then how to turn that fear into fuel so you can stop sitting on the sidelines of your own life. Because I've been in that place and it is a miserable place to be. So buckle up, because this is the Hot Wash. So most people who are afraid of failure, they really just have one simple problem. They just haven't failed enough. And you may be thinking, I've failed plenty, Kyle, but I'm telling you, think about it. When you were a kid learning how to ride a bike, you didn't stop trying after you fell off once. You fell, you got back up, and then eventually you figured it out. You failed until you got it right. And this isn't what we continue to do throughout our lives most of the time, because something breaks us inside and that fear takes over. And that's why the enemy uses it. But somewhere along the way, we stop thinking of failure as a necessary part of success. And then we start seeing it as a permanent label that defines us. We start thinking, what if I try and I fail? What if people see me fail? I'm not as good as I think I am. So let me hit you with this right here. Every successful person you admire, every single one, they've just failed more times than you've attempted. Their failures outnumber your attempts. The difference, they learned from it and then they failed forward. So I want to be super honest and transparent. This one hits super close to me. It hits close to home because back in 2020, my wife and I, we were running multiple businesses. We were about 4 years in, maybe 5 years after or 4 or 5 years after my retirement. We were running them all together. They made over $1 million in a total market impact. Like they were rolling strong. Things were good, real good. And I made the classic mistake. We thought the money was always going to flow like water. We thought it was always going to be there. It was always going to come in. And then the economy shifted, right? Things slowed down. I was not prepared for that. We were not prepared for that. I had not made the decisions to protect us from that income tanking. I had to look at myself in the mirror and ask, do I want to start over again? I mean, do I really have it in me to rebuild, kind of start over? And this thing kept declining. And I could have let that failure define me. I could have played it safe. I could have gone back to the corporate world. I actually did for a little bit, for just a few months. And then I could have stayed in that high paying position. It was going to be really high paying, but I knew that wasn't my path. So instead of running from failure, I studied it. I learned from it. And I applied those lessons to what I'm doing now, which is a rewired experience. The Hot Wash is just a series in this whole movement. We're not just a podcast. We're going to change the world. Hey, I just wanted to take a quick break from this message because if you're watching this right now, I already know you're serious about growth. But let me ask you something. How much of your time is wasted scrolling through social media, seeing the same distractions the same noise, and knowing that big tech and corporate algorithms, as well as the government, are controlling what you see, what you engage with, and even to some extent, what you think. What if you could break free from all of that? Ditch the algorithms, own your time, your network, and your potential. Connect with high-level thinkers and leaders who actually push you to grow. That's why we built the ReWired experience. Now, what is ReWired experience? ReWired experience isn't just another social platform, another podcast, or YouTube channel. This is a movement. It's a private, high-performance network for leaders, entrepreneurs, first responders, veterans, impact-driven professionals, and elite thinkers. People who come from these backgrounds, but not just that, but people who don't just want to exist. They want to grow. They want to lead and build something real. And here's what makes it different from social media. Number one, there's no ads, no algorithms, no big tech interference. Next, no censorship, no distractions, just raw, high-powered networking and value. Your data stays with you. No one's tracking what you post, what you watch, or how you think. We're not here for clickbait or meaningless content. This is a real community where you own your content, your conversation, and your growth. Who is this for? And why does it matter? Here's the deal. We're launching this right now, and we're looking for the right people to join us as leaders, as community members, as coaches. And if you've ever felt like you were meant for more, but didn't have the right environment, then this is it. If you're a high performer who's been through adversity, military service, law enforcement, or other high-stakes careers, then this is definitely for you. If you're an entrepreneur, a coach, or someone who wants to build an income around helping others, then this is for you. And if you run a nonprofit or a mission-driven organization and need a high-powered community around you, this is your home. If you lead a hobbyist or interest-based community, whether it's martial arts, fitness, overlanding, shooting sports, and you want to connect with high-level thinkers, this is for you. Look, this is a safe place for people who want to grow together, learn together, and build something that actually matters. And here's the best part. Right now, it's completely free. There's no financial barrier to entry, just high-level people coming together to grow, lead, and build something powerful. Now, we may eventually put some of it behind a paywall, but here's the deal. This is why you should join now. Look, trust in social media is collapsing. Big tech and government, they totally have us oversight on what you see, what you engage in, and even what you're allowed to talk about to some extent. Inside the ReWired experience, the only people who have access to your content, your email, your bio, it's the other people in the community. And they're like-minded people like you, people you can trust. There's no government tracking, no social media manipulation, just real connections, real conversations, and real growth. Look, you could even ditch social media entirely and still have an elite high-performance network around you. You're going to have access to exclusive coaching, live calls, direct mentorship. You'll be surrounded by people who actually push you to level up. And listen, if you've ever wanted to be a part of something bigger than yourself, then this is your opportunity. We're building a movement to change the world. That's my dream. That's my hope. To rewire the way people think about fear, comfort, money, time, relationships, business, and purpose. If you want to be a part of that, now's your time. So it's super easy, super simple to join us. All you need to do is go to rewiredexperience.com and then join us right there on the platform. Right now, it's free. Like I said, we may eventually charge a little bit for a subscription, but right now there's no paywall, no financial barrier. It's just a movement of leaders, community members, like-minded people coming together. And listen, if you've ever wanted to step away from social media and still have a powerful network, then again, this is your chance. There's no ads, no censorship. Think small business for social media. Just high-powered people coming together to band together and grow and make an impact. So click the link, join ReWired Experience, and let's build something that actually matters. And fear of failure only paralyzes you if you let it paralyze you. But the moment you realize failure is a teacher, not a verdict, then you start winning. And that's what we want everyone to know. We want everybody to grasp that and become a part of this movement to shift our way of thinking, to rewire our mind. Now, here's something most people don't think about. Fear of success is actually more dangerous than fear of failure. Because if you're in action, if you're Charlie Mike, you're that Charlie Mike plan, if you don't quit, then you're probably going to succeed. And when you do, the whole game changes. Now there are expectations. Now people are watching. Now you're responsible for more. But think about this. What if I make it and I can't sustain it? This is what your brain's telling you. What if I can't handle the pressure? This is what you're hearing in your mind. What if I lose everything all over again? These whispers are coming from the enemy, because that fear, it's the real killer, because it keeps you from ever stepping into your potential in the first place. And you're just stuck in the cycle of suck. Please understand, I've had this fear myself multiple times. And when I stepped into this space, I looked around and I thought, and what I mean by this space is like in podcasting and thought leadership. And I started comparing myself to the greats, right? Like the guys I admire, Jocko Willink, Sean Ryan, Jason Redman, David Goggins. I mean, all those guys I just named are like former Navy SEALs. I mean, these guys are giants in the space. Like I said, former Navy SEALs, elite operators, guys with global brands now, massive followings. So when I even thought about starting a podcast or and a YouTube channel, it blew me away. And here I am. I'm not a SEAL. I wasn't in special forces. I was a SWAT team guy at a medium-sized police department, 12 years in SWAT, 100 combat missions in Afghanistan, Purple Heart, Bronze Star. Like I've got some accolades, right? I got some things, but in my head, I still wasn't and am not on their level. So why would anyone listen to me? What if I fail in front of everyone? This is what was going through my mind when I was thinking, should I do something like this? And here's the truth. I still don't know if this is going to be successful, but I do know this. If I let the fear stop me, then I guarantee failure. And if I take action, hey, at least I've got a shot at it. And that's the mindset shift we all need. I may not be able to be those people, but I can do the things those guys do. Fear of success isn't about doubting your ability. It's about doubting if you're ready to handle what comes next. But you're never going to be ready if you don't step into the fire and find out. If you turn that fear into fuel and you, Charlie Mike, the doors are going to open. It's happened for me. It's happened for a million people in front of us that have gone first. Listen, fear is going to keep you stuck. Fear is going to keep you playing small. Fear will stop you from becoming who you were meant to be. But the difference between the people who win and the people who don't, winners, they still feel the fear, but they act anyway. You haven't failed enough, so start failing forward. You are afraid of success, good. That means you're in motion. The only way to move forward is to take action. Take a knee, drink water, reshoot your azimuth, and Charlie Mike. If you're scared, in the words of one of the greats, Jocko Willink, good. Listen, if this message hit home, I want you to do two things. So first, just drop a comment. It helps us with the algorithms. It helps us get this message to other people. And tell me what fear is keeping you stuck in right now. What fear is holding you back? Is it fear of success? Is it fear of failure? Where are you at? Second, keep watching the video that YouTube is suggesting right now on the screen. They're suggesting another episode, and I want you to click on it. Keep learning, keep pushing forward, because we're not done yet. Let's keep moving. This is the hot wash, and we're just getting started.